4 shocking stories of nurses who got fired. Some recent shocking news hits the healthcare world as nurses lose their job for the craziest reason. One nurse sued in response, and the jury responded with $41.5 million for wrongful termination. Another nurse was fired for having an affair with a hospital patient who died during their sexual encounter. In this video, we're exploring some recent stories of nursing controversy and exploring how these nurses got caught into these situations that led them to lose their jobs. Let's take a look at these 4 nurses who got fired, and then let me know in the comments if you think it's justified or not. First story. Fired nurse wins $41.5 million for wrongful termination lawsuit. What would you do with $41.5 million? On December 14, 2023, Dave Pearson from Health Exec reports on a nurse who sued a Kaiser Permanente hospital for firing her. The jury rewarded her with more than $41 million. Nurse Maria Gatchalian was a charge nurse who worked in the NICU, short for Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. She will receive $11.49 million in compensatory damages from the hospital, $9 million of which is for her emotional distress, along with $30 million in punitive damages. Her firing was due to her placing her bare feet in an isolette. If you do not know what that is, it is a small clear plastic incubator to place infants in to keep warm and protected from germs. This sounds like a fireable offense and not worthy of suing for over $41 million, right? However, when this nurse sued in 2021, she reported that her real offense was actually her reporting understaffing to the hospital leadership. The hospital went after her for an offense to let her go due to her ongoing complaints of being understaffed. She maintained that the hospital attempted to silence her. Kaiser Permanente Hospital plans on appealing the decision since they still stand by her termination and are surprised and disappointed in the verdict. What do you think about this? I agree with the hospital in that this is not your home. There should be no bare feet being placed in an isolette, especially in a NICU. However, being understaffed is a serious issue that is plaguing hospitals everywhere and needs to be addressed. This is especially dangerous in a unit like the NICU. I believe that everyone is in the wrong in this situation. I'm not sure how the jury came up with $41.5 million, but that's definitely enough for someone to retire from nursing for life. Story number 2. Massive layoff. Over 100 plus MedExpress urgent care clinic dismiss all nursing staff. Nurse.org staff published an article on August 21, 2023 about all nurses getting fired at 100 plus MedExpress urgent care clinic. There are nearly 150 locations across the United States, and it was announced on August 11, 2023 that registered nurse positions would get eliminated. This is to revamp staffing models and to cut costs. A petition has been created by MedExpress providers claiming that it is a reckless and unsafe decision to provide patient care at these urgent care clinics without nurses being the first line of defense. Clinical judgment are used by the nurses to assess and triage high-risk situations. Providers have different formal training than nurses and barely reconstitute or administer medication. Medical assistants are valuable resources, but do not have the expertise or the scope of practice to perform the majority of nursing duties. In fact, the American Association of Medical Assistants specifically states that their role does not include critical thinking. X-ray technicians are now going to be expected to start IV lines and respond to emergency situations, and these are tasks that they are not trained or comfortable to perform, and I don't blame them. Many healthcare providers are considering resigning as a result of MedExpress not valuing their patient safety. Keep in mind that this company reported a profit of $5.6 billion in the first quarter of this year. Clinics are already understaffed and nurses are already underpaid. It is astonishing to think that removing nurses from all the clinic is the answer to cutting costs. Do you know how many times that I have saved a provider from making a mistake regarding patient safety? I've questioned drug dosages. I've questioned if this drug should be prescribed for a patient. I know I'm not the only nurse. The probability of 9 out of 10 nurses preventing a mistake from being made is pretty high. We really are the front line of defense for these patients. We are their voices, and it is in our scope of practice to advocate, assess, evaluate, monitor, and be there for these patients. How would you feel if you were one of these nurses being laid off? Would you be comfortable receiving care at one of these urgent care clinics, especially without a nurse present? We just uncovered 2 jaw-dropping tales of nurses losing their job. Craving more? Hit subscribe if you would like me to make more exciting nursing news videos. Your support goes a long way. Up next, story number 3. Nurse dismissed following fatal incident with patient during their sexual encounter. WKRC staff reported on July 9, 2023, about a British nurse, Penelope Williams, age 24, who was treating the long-term dialysis patient. Their relationship was ongoing since January 2021, which is quite some time. At first, the nurse claimed she barely knew this patient before admitting to their secret relationship. British nurse Williams was providing dialysis treatment, which is how they met. The patient was receiving dialysis treatment and died of a heart attack during the late-night meeting, and the nurse failed to call for an ambulance. Instead, she spoke with a colleague who urged her to call an ambulance. After the conversation and realizing that Williams was not going to call for an ambulance, the colleague ended up calling for the ambulance instead, who found the patient dead upon arrival. Initially, the nurse stated that she met with the patient after he messaged her on Facebook stating that he did not feel well. According to the nurse William, she was only with him for 30 to 45 minutes in the back of his car and that they only spoke. Then, she admitted to their ongoing relationship and that she met up with him for a sexual encounter. This admission resulted in her dismissal. It was determined by the panel that Williams would be off the register and can no longer continue working as a nurse. The committee stated that she placed the patients at risk of harm. This is quite a Grey's Anatomy episode. Do you remember the one where Izzy fell in love with her patient Danny? That was quite extreme. Of course, in the TV world, she got to keep her job, but in the real world, this would result in termination. The fact that she couldn't even call an ambulance and decided to call her colleague instead played a major role in the patient not receiving life-saving care in a timely manner. I've heard stories of my coworkers hooking up with each other after hours in the back room. I'm definitely not one of them. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. However, I actually have not personally heard of a colleague hooking up with a patient. How about you? Story number 4. Labor and delivery nurses dismissed for creating viral TikTok about their ex, making fun of patients. It is a new era of social media, and now we have the resources to go viral and make money out of it. What nurses do outside of work does not affect what they do for a living, but they should not be on social media at the expense of their patients. Imagine giving birth soon and stumbling upon the videos of nurses making fun of their patient and need. It would make you feel bad and not feel comfortable when receiving care by nurses. Cassandra Stone wrote an article on Motherly about labor and delivery nurses at Emory University Hospital sharing their least favorite patient requests. These requests and complaints apparently give these nurses the ick, which is the trend where people share what makes them cringe on social media. This video has been deleted by the original account, but can still be found on social media as it has been reposted by many others. One ick is moms asking how much their babies weigh. This seems like a harmless and normal question to me. Why can't moms know how much their babies weigh? I can't even imagine this being an ick. Another nurse thinks that patients in labor being hungry and thirsty is considered an ick. If I'm in labor, I'm gonna complain all I want. Even as I'm doing this video, I am currently hungry. How on earth is this even an ick? Another ick is apparently moms who are in pain and refusing epidurals before they are super dilated. Imagine now being a patient at this hospital and feeling uncomfortable for refusing an epidural because you saw this video. You should have the right to refuse an epidural if this is part of your birthing plan. Emory University Hospital Midtown posted a statement on Facebook stating that the nurses that were involved in the video have been dismissed. There is a high mortality rate regarding maternal deaths and even higher mortality rates seen in African American women at this location. So it is essential that these patients speak up when they feel something is off and know that they will not be judged or made fun of. As we know, this is not what nursing stands for. Ready for the latest from QD Nurses? Smash the subscribe button and join our community and stay updated. Every like and share propels us forward, and your support means the world to me. Thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to catch you in the next video.